And today we'll just talk metrics. We'll talk about what are the things that you want people to do on any products that you're building. What are the things that you should be measuring for? What are the things you should be studying? Very important thing to measure, really. It's a very important thing to actually measure. Let me share my screen. And what this is leading towards is more analytics. We're thinking more analytics wise now. And analytics just means on the website, even though I'm just on this website, every time I spend a particular number of seconds on a particular area, something is measuring my time spent on this page. And if I just click on this empty area here, if I just highlight text, something is measuring this, telling me what are the things that people are clicking on the most. What types of article are people interested in more? Are people searching more, or are they running through all of these guys and reading more of these things? You understand? That's pretty much what analytics does for us. It can measure the journey. Meaning I came in from here, then I went into news. If I go to the news page, did I sign in or register? There's something that is measuring the person came here and then went here and went there and went there. Every tool that you have generally is studying your habits. That's why I'm sure you guys have seen this before. When you go on the website and it asks you, allow cookies or allow only important cookies or decline cookies or whatever, that's pretty much what is installing on your system. And you see your browser. Cookies, which is going to be studying the things you click on. And then those cookies is what they now use to advertise to you. And those cookies is actually what they now use to target to and advertise to you. Everything is interconnected digitally nowadays. And Google is currently in trouble for that because Google monopolizes the entire market, especially marketing, analytics, and all of that. Because if you notice, if you go on Google and you search for something, it will be suggesting other sites to you rather than what you search for. What you search for will probably be at the bottom. Let's go here. Let's search for something like, I don't even know which one. Let's test Framer. Framer came out first. Let's test something else. Let me see which company is that. Let's say Tesla. Okay, pretty much it gives us the site as well. But sometimes when you are searching on Google, it does something to be showing you other websites that are not even related to what you search for. This one is WordPress hosting. Exactly. Now, instead of showing me WordPress itself, it's showing me WordPress hosting. This is not even WordPress's website. It's comparingwebhosting.com/WordPress. Down here, these are sponsored ads. Because these guys have paid to have sponsored ads, it will rather suggest them to me than take me to exactly what I searched for. This is even WP Engine, but WP Engine is more like WordPress. And this is now actually the website of WordPress. Google is actually in trouble for like trying to monopolize the market. They're currently in one mad, huge lawsuit like that. That maybe at one point they'll probably be splitting Google up into 10 different companies. Because the same thing happened to what bank was that? There was a bank that happened to, and then this guy, Standard Trust as well, Standard Oil, back in like the 1800s. Standard Oil as well was split into like Shell and all of these other oil companies as well. They're currently in trouble for some of those things, but all of those cookies are informing things. The things you talk more about around your devices, the things you browse on, the specific keywords you are clicking on in websites, they use those things to then retarget you. And I'm sure you guys have actually experienced that before as well. In Nigeria, it's not that crazy. Here, it's mad. It's really mad here. You could be watching TV, and what you were talking about with somebody a few minutes ago is advertised on TV. Like, I kid you not. Yeah. All right. Let's talk about metrics. Let's talk about analytics and measuring metrics. It might really be a very short class, really. I'll show you an example of analytics. I'll say mixed panel. And I'll go into Google Analytics. Now, a lot of websites have all of these things in there, measuring and telling you total number of sessions in your app, the bounce rate, the average session per user, average session duration, average pages per session, meaning people don't even spend that much time enough to even have up to one page being visited on the app. Number of something, a feature in there created, how many something behaviors, percentage of engagements, all of these things are very important. These are the things that you should be able to talk about in an interview. Now, starting your career really, and I'll talk about this shortly. Sorry, not feeling too fine. But yeah, starting your career really is more about what you are able to contribute to any company. Really, the company was performing this way, that way, that way, that way before you joined. You joined and you started designing for them. How did the designs that you created, the things you did, how did that add to the bottom line? Did they make more money? Did customer support start getting less calls? Again, those might not be the specific problem you are solving, but you must be improving something within the organization. Do you understand? This is what analytics really is, to be showing you all of this data. You can have like different boards set up for marketing, different boards set up for, where are people paying for active users. Most of them are in Lagos, and many of them are in Abuja. You can see a lot of all of those things. Now, all of these things are typically set up by the developers. It's not your job as the designer to set up analytics, but I love to have access to analytics. As a senior designer, you need to have access to analytics so that you see things. But a lot of times, the instruction on what to design and when to design it typically will come from like a product manager. That will usually come from a product manager. You don't really have to bother yourself about, things like that. But the places where you then need to start thinking about analytics is, we designed something 2 weeks ago and we have launched it to the users to start using. What is the impact versus what we had before? Usually you study analytics for a month. Once we launch something, we study it for a month. Then we now say, the month prior to that update, what was the analytics like? And I will talk about a few metrics that you guys should keep in mind. What are the things that you should be thinking of increasing? What are the things that you should be thinking of reducing? As I was saying, you study it for a month. Then you now compare that month that update has gone live, how users were behaving with that website versus the month prior. Was there a better engagement with your update? That means your update is a good one. Or did the engagement drop because your website UI has changed? That means there's a problem with the new design, meaning the new design is not communicating to users. That is actually the true measure of the success of any design. The way it looks is not really the measure of the success of the design. The way it works, the way it converts people, the way it communicates to people is the true measure of the impact of your design. Your design can be finer than anything else. Can be doing 3D, maybe birds and the goats, they are flying from left to right on your website. Everything is nice. If people are not engaging with it, trust me, it is a very bad design. You understand? If it is not converted to metrics, it is a very, very bad design. Let's go back. Let's now go into Figma. Let's go into your design file. Let's start free. There are a few metrics that I would like you guys to keep in mind. All right. We have our file open, and there are a few metrics you have to think of. Now, there are three main categories of the metrics that you should be thinking about, really. When you want to measure, at least, there are three main categories of metrics that you should always consider. There's one called the traffic metrics. There's traffic metrics. Then there's engagement metrics. And the last one is, it's not even the last one, so really, but it's conversion metrics. Then there's also the one that ties into marketing a little bit, which is the SEO metrics. Search engine optimization, that is SEO. Now, when we are talking about traffic metrics, I'm talking about the traffic that comes to your website and, how is that interaction like between that? Traffic, some key traffic metrics to think about is, number one, the first one is going to be called visitors. Number of visitors that visit your website on average. How many people are visiting your website? Are you getting 1,000 people and whatever? But that's not enough. Beyond that, you have to now measure that in relation to something I spoke about yesterday, the bounce rate. You can set your bounce rate to be like a minute. Anything that is like under a minute or maybe 2 minutes is a bounce. But again, typically it's like we use like 30 seconds. Because sometimes people get all the information they need in 1 minute. You understand? 30 seconds is like a very good number. 1 minute is setting a very strict rule for yourself. Meaning the aim of that website is probably for people to read what's there. You understand? They can set a higher, measurement for the bounce rate, really. The time limit. Bounce rate pretty much just means percentage of people who visit my website after viewing only one page, or after just, viewing the page and then just leaving. You understand? Now, apart from bounce rates, then we have another called sessions. Sessions is really about the unique periods of the user's activity on your website, meaning I come into the website and then I visit other pages. That is a session. Coming into the page as well and exceeding that bounce rate time limit will also count as a session. Because sometimes all I'm just there to do on the page is just read key information on the page. That is also a session. That's pretty much what we mean by session. You understand? Coming in and then exceeding that time limit you've probably set. If somebody comes in and spends over the 30 seconds limit that you've set, it counts as a very good session. If somebody comes in, clicks on multiple pages, all of that is one session. Each case of coming in and doing things is a session, provided it exceeds the time limit of your minimum. Then we have another one called traffic sources. Now, when we say traffic sources, it means where are people coming to our website from? I'm sure you guys have seen, you see Jumia advert on Instagram, you see it on Facebook, you see it on Twitter. If you click to go to Jumia from any of those links, that is a traffic source. If I click on X and I click on the link to Jumia, it will mark the traffic source as 1+ person has entered our website from X. That is how you measure which platforms or which social media platforms are good for you guys to keep spending money on and putting your ads in. So think about it. If I say traffic sources, maybe we get from all our, marketing and everything, we get about a million, should I say, people coming in. Now, one of your normal sources is organic search. Organic search just means you searched on Google. Google is a traffic source. If I click on a link from Facebook and it leads me to the website, that is a traffic source as well. It counts for Facebook. On average, the way companies think about it is we are doing adverts on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on all of this, on TikTok. How many people are coming from TikTok? If you are looking at TikTok and we see that maybe on TikTok, we only get of the 1 million, maybe it's not even up to 1% that clicks on the link from TikTok. We will know TikTok is not effective. Therefore, we no longer advertise on TikTok. Then, if you see, maybe Facebook is where a lot of people are actually coming from the most. Maybe Facebook takes about maybe like 50% of that 1 million, sources of people. Then Facebook is where you keep putting your money to advertise more so that more people come to your product. That is traffic sources. Where are the users coming from? It could be social media. It could be a referral as well. Referral means I could come to the website, copy a link and send to somebody. The website understands each link that everybody has visited. It creates dynamic, unique links. Once I give you my own link, if you click on my link, it will count under me that somebody clicked based on a referral because this link was assigned to somebody else, but now somebody else is visiting our website based on that same unique link. We know, and again, most times there's something they call the UTM, the Urchin Tracking something. I've forgotten what it's called, the UTM. It's just recently I started learning deeper into data analytics. The UTM is like a unique signal that is used in the link. If you check the link of any website on something like Facebook, on Jumia, you see that those links are very different. If it could be the same company, but the links are different because to have some kind equal to 3, 4, and maybe question mark, something there. Those are the Urchin distance. It's a unique identifier for the link. You understand? To say, if somebody enters our website from this unique link, that means that's Facebook, Instagram. You understand? That is how those tracking is mainly done. It's like a very smart interconnected system. And then Google Analytics will measure those things and tell you, oh, one more person has come from Google search, another person has come from here again, another person again. You understand? And then, but if somebody goes to a website and types in directly what the website is, maybe something like framer.com, type in this, then that's organic because there's no and to see all of this stuff you're seeing and question mark UTM source Google. You understand? Because I clicked on a link from Google. That is what this is. You understand? Very, very, very interesting, crazy, crazy stuff. Like marketing is a whole nother ball game. I'm very interested in a lot of marketing things. But anyway, yeah, traffic sources. That's pretty much, what that is. Now, let me come in here as well. And apart from traffic sources, then we have average session duration. What this just means is the number of people. Let's say Mr. A goes into a website, spends 5 minutes. Mr. B went to the website, spent 1 minute. Mrs. C went to the website, spent another 3 minutes. That will be 5 plus 3 plus 2 plus whatever. Any number of people, all the number of minutes or seconds that they spend on the website is going to be the total session duration, meaning total number of time that people have spent looking at our website. Then divided by the number of people that visited our website. That is how you get the result for the average session duration. That average session duration will be telling you that on average, people typically spend at least 4 minutes on the home page. They spend 3 minutes looking at this other page. Maybe on the login page, in the login process, they typically spend less than 30 seconds. There are certain pages that you want the average duration of those pages to be very low. In those pages, something like login, I want somebody to be able to log in under 30 seconds and they're already in my app. But something like an about us page, I want them to spend time reading about us, right? To learn more about us. I want the session duration of that page to go higher. Something like signing up, I want them to be able to provide all the information without having to go and be looking for one document so that they can copy something and paste on the this thing. Thinking about all of those things is really our job. How can we shorten the stress? How can we make sure people click once or 2 times or 3 times and they are done with everything they have to do? What are the things that we can do to hasten those things up? That is really what there are certain session durations that you want to be higher. There are certain session durations that you want to be lower as well. And then there's now the one called the pages per session. Pretty much it says exactly what it is, meaning for each session that somebody comes in there to do, how many pages do they go through? Something like this, something like here now, if I'm on this page, and then I go here, I'm in another page right now, meaning this session, I've gone into 2 pages. Then I decided to go into another page again. Then I go somewhere else again. Even though there are videos there and all of that, I'm going into different pages. They're all pages that I'm exploring, and I'm increasing the number of pages per session. Because this is one session. I did not leave the website to come back to another page. It's during one use of the website. That is where you see all of these things. Yeah, that's pretty much what that means. Pages per session. Now, and those are pretty much the ones I can really think about right now when it comes to traffic metrics. Now, we then have the ones for engagement metrics. This is how you really measure how people are engaging with your app. This is more about information architecture, arrange text, making text easy to read and consume and all of that. Here is more about functional elements. What features are people using the most? And what pages are they viewing the most? What pages are they spending most times on? What pages are people leaving from? What's that page that when people get to this page, people just leave the app? Do we have a problem with that page? Is that why people are leaving? Very, very important to know. First engagement metric we're going to think about here is page views. For each page, number of times that somebody viewed each page. Even if I go to the same page 20 times, it will count 20 times. That's what we call page views. Let's say 1 million people visit a page 20 times each. That will be 1 million times 20. That will be the total page view. Anyway, Then we then have, apart from page views, we also have average time on the page. On each page that they are viewing, what is the average amount of time that they are now spending on that page? This page now is getting 1 million views, no wala. Of those million views, what is the average time that they are spending to view the page? And is that average time enough for them to even consume all the information? You get? That is average time per page. Then the next thing we have is going to be the exit rate. Exit rate just means the number of people who leave your website from a specific page. Let's say I went to the home page, then I went to log in. After I logged in, then I went to settings, and then I closed the website. That is an exit, all right? That means I exited the entire session. I left the session at the settings page. On average, how many people are leaving the session from that page? Is the real point of this. Exit rate, the percentage of visitors that are leaving your website after viewing a specific page. That is what we call the exit rate. Then you're going to have your top pages. Very, very important stuff. Some pages are top pages, meaning these are the pages that rank highest, that these are the pages that people visit the most. That tells you something, that people are visiting these pages for a reason. Then you can start looking at the pages that are getting low visitors and thinking, what is good about these pages that are getting the visitors that is not doing well with these other pages? And how can we make these other pages better so that they also start getting visits? And then you also have the top exit pages. It's important to know what pages people are leaving from the most. That means those pages probably have problems. Therefore, we need to find a way to, communicate with the user effectively, to convince them to click or buy something or do something. Top exit page, that's really what that is. Then we have the conversion metrics. Conversion metrics. Now, for the first thing, we just have something called the conversion rate. Conversion rate means, even if you're on my page, you clicking to log in, that is a desire. That means you've converted from just a normal visitor to somebody who logged in. If you're a normal visitor as well, you decide to sign up, you have converted to a user. That is conversion. If you're on the contact us page and you fill the form and you press submit and it sends, you have also converted, because that is a desired action. We can set a list of things that we want users to do. Obviously, important thing is for them to buy things. Next, but one of the important things as well is that they should log in but also sign up. They should be able to also save things to their carts, maybe later to check out, or bookmark things. Those are desired. All of those things are tracking them to say they are converting. Because people will typically not do stuff like all of those actions if they are not willing to come back. That is why we set multiple different actions to be conversion actions. Once people do any of those actions, it then marks it as a conversion. Conversion rate just means the percentage of visitors that actually go ahead to carry out a desired action. The other one I have now is going to be something called the click-through rate. Call it the CTR. In some companies, we hear CTR. Click-through rate just means the percentage of people who click on a link or a button. You don't care whether it's a key desired action. The fact that you're on that page and you click on any button or any link to go to another page, that is a click-through rate. We can say we have 1 million users, but of those million users, if 800,000 of them were just viewing the home page and did not click on anything, that means the other 20% that is remaining, they clicked on something. That means those 20% is actually the click-through rate. Now, click-through rate is something you want to drive up. Your aim is to find a way to make buttons more enticing for people to then click on the button and then go into another page to look at something or do something. This we typically should be driving this up. Conversion rate as well. The aim is to drive and increase conversion rates. You understand? Making buttons look sexy or using nice words on buttons will definitely drive these two guys up. Anyway, let's go down. And I also call about something called the new versus returning users. Oh, this is very self-explanatory. That's just it. You take the number of new people that you have, and then you compare it to the number of people that you have that keep coming back to the app. You are segmenting, like in that way, you are segmenting, meaning you are reading new people separate from people that have come in before, and they just keep coming back to you like almost every day or whatever. Then your job is to now understand, last month, did our new users increase or did it drop? Do we have more new users than returning users? Or do we even have more new users than we had last week, but still is lower than returning? The aim is to have more returning users, because you can have new users that don't actually turn to returning users. The aim is we want to keep driving number of returning users. We need to find new ways to keep bringing people back to our app. Also, we want to have new users, but we'll rather have these new users become returning users, that they keep coming back and using it every day, every day, every day. You understand? Pretty much new users, this is a returning users is something you want to drive up. New users as well, you also want to drive it up, but you want the new users to turn to returning users because you want them to keep coming back and coming back and coming back. This typically ties into like marketing elements. Can we send emails? Can we do cookies? Can we advertise to you? Those are the things that companies use to then drive those things up. Then we then have our SEO metrics, which is similar to already what we've already spoken about before. SEO will tell us more about organic traffic. Organic traffic just means how many people I won't just search it. I won't just entering the website URL directly and coming to the website. That is the organic traffic. But there's also the one of then the search engine traffic is also important, meaning how many people search for our company's name on Google and Google gives them a link and then they click and they come in. How many people are actually coming through Google? How many people are coming through the organic? Now, but tied to this search engine is now something called keyword. You have to have very good keywords for anybody to find. Because sometimes people don't know the name of your product, but they have an idea of what they are looking for. If they search for, let me just come back. Let's say I come to Google and just search for something like website builders that are free. These are keywords that I'm actually entering in here. If I enter, Google will match and search on another one. Sites jet, build a website in minutes. You see, sponsor. Google is giving me recommendations. How many people are finding us through a specific keyword? What are those keywords that are the highest on how people are finding us through those search engine results? You understand? And that's pretty much what the keywords is. Meaning, what are people searching for that is now leading them to find our website? And those are pretty much the metrics that I want you guys to know about. These are very important things. This is something that you'll be asked about in interviews. Obviously, in Nigeria, they don't ask about a lot of these things because a lot of companies they don't really track this. They just want to build beautiful things. But really, if you want to build anything smart, you have to take from the angle of how can I optimize in a way that we are not just guessing where to put marketing. We have data information that is telling us a lot of things, and we know where to go and improve the design and where to leave the design as is. We can test design concepts out. You understand? Very, very interesting stuff. Building products is not just as easy as just designing it. That's the point of why I'm doing these bits of this class, to explain to you guys that it's not just about designing the fine stuff. It's really about how it's performing. All of these things is really what your product is about. All of this. Then there are some business metrics, which is something, typically you don't get to see it particularly, but some companies will actually give you that, just a business metrics. We are going to have something called the AOV. Then we have the CAC, We want to know things like AOV, as I said, the CAC, then we have the CLC, so CLV. Then let me just list them and I'll just tell you more about them. Then obviously we already have this, I've already spoke about the CR. And then we have something called the cat abandonment rate. AOV pretty much means average order volume. CAC means customer acquisition cost. CLV means customer lifetime value. CR means conversion rate. We already spoke about it before. And then we have the cart abandonment rate. Let's start from cart abandonment rate. Save for later is a very good feature, but there's something companies do. They send you an email. Oh, you still have these things in your cart. They still send you an email. Oh, you still have these things in your cart. You can go there now to check out. They do it a lot here. If you add things to Amazon's cart, a few hours or later, it will tell you that, oh, you've not checked out. How far your things are still in the cart. Right. So that is one of the ways you can implement, you work with marketing to ensure that those emails are automated. That's also something that with this new company I've been able to do since I got here. And I've pretty much just been there for 5 weeks now, but I'm already doing a lot of things. It's typically how a designer should work. You have to think outside of the box. It's not just about the design. It's about how it works. We need to drive some things down. Therefore, cart abandonment rate is something we want to reduce. We don't want this to increase. What do you guys think about conversion rates? Should it be something we increase or reduce? Exactly. It's something we want increased because it's a conversion rate. People should be converting, not leaving us. Then CLV means customer lifetime value. Now, what customer lifetime value just means is, on average, of all the customers we have that buy things from us, what is their average lifetime spend? Meaning, from the beginning of when they sign up to date, how much have each person spent? We add everything together, and then we divide it by the number of people. That is how we get the number of what the customer lifetime value is. So if you go there, spend $100 every month, and you'll be doing it for 12 months, that's $1,200 already that you have spent. Now, if 20 people have done that same 1,200, then that would be 1,200 times 20 divided by 20. But again, if somebody is in there in that list of people, let's say it's just maybe of the 20 people, maybe 3 people, or let's say of the 20, let's say maybe 5 people only did like maybe $100 all their lifetime. That means we have $500 because 5 people, and then we have the 1,200 times 15. We add all that number up and then we divide it by 20, which is the number of everybody that we have. That is how you will know. This tells you a lot. The point is you want to have a higher customer lifetime value. If you are doing things, especially like subscription packages or subscription plans, you want people to come back and spend more money on your platform. Now, how do you drive things up to say you want people to buy more things on your platform? Any ideas, guys? Ways, things to implement to get people to buy more on your platform, on your website or whatever. It's offering discount. Understand? Giving them a discount is a very, very good way to get people to buy things. Domino's does that all the time. Every time I go to my brother, my sister in Wales, when I get there, I know I'll buy one big pizza and I'll get one big pizza free for £12. You understand? And I'll always buy it every time. I think it's just because there's another free one there. That's why I just buy it. I will just have pizza that we cannot even finish. It will just be too much. But the fact that they are offering it, I will buy it usually. What else? Coupon codes. Coupon codes are very, very good as well. Telling people that you can have a coupon code that you can apply whenever you are buying things, and then you can get maybe like $10 off or maybe a percentage off or whatever. And what other way can you increase this customer lifetime value as well? What other ways? By implementing something like referrals. If you refer somebody, we give you this. If you refer somebody, we give, meaning if somebody comes in and buys something, obviously CLV will go up. Once people are buying stuff, then customer life value keeps going up as well. And then we'll reward you with something, maybe like a 10% off, or maybe £200, voucher or whatever it is. Then CAC is now customer acquisition cost. Now, what customer acquisition cost just means is the total amount of money. If we are spending millions of dollars or millions of pounds or millions of naira on marketing our services and websites in different social medias, all that money, we have to keep account of it. We now measure it against how much money are we now making. We will subtract it. We subtract that. Okay, and think about it. It's not even just about that. It is all those places we spend. Let's say we spend money in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All of those places. We'll study only money that comes through sessions from those traffic sources specifically. We'll not add organic search to it. We study money that comes in through sales from those particular traffic sources. We then subtract it from the amount of money that we spent on marketing. If it's in the negative, that means we lost money on marketing. If it's in the positive, that means we made money based on the marketing that is the CAC. It cost us amount of money to acquire so number of each user. But that means we spent this amount of money on social media this month, and we got this number of users to make purchases for us to even break even. This is how big business is done. This is how big companies make real big decisions. And the last one is average order volume. From everything I've said, what do you guys think AOV now means? What do you think this AOV is referring to? How do you calculate an AOV? The average order volume, meaning on average, how much are people spending? When we see that, do we start offering more expensive products? But the problem is now, when you offer more expensive products, are people buying those products? We now see that if your AOV goes down, you need to take away those expensive things. If you are thinking of increasing prices of your services and goods, if it starts affecting your average order volume, you need to just reverse it back to the normal pricing so that people don't run away from your product. These are the ways that companies make decisions to increase or reduce this thing. That's pretty much it. Now, a lot of things really is about strategy. All of these conversion, all of these metrics will be telling you something. There's a reason why these things are being tracked. Everything has a reason. They're being tracked for specific reasons in order to make smarter business decisions. That is the real point of doing all of this. You have to, again, I know obviously this is not something you start interacting with immediately, but I would like you to be in an interview and ask questions about specific metrics. Trust me, the way they will look at you and respect you. I remember there was an interview I did, and I asked them a question. I was like, on average, like, what is the, should I say, click-through rate of the homepage, really? Because they were like, oh, what did you think about our homepage? And I was like, okay. I was like, before I even answer that question, like, generally, what is the click-through rate of the homepage? How many people click on a link to go to another page from that homepage? Do they have analytics data that they are tracking? And then they were like, oh, really, that they don't really have those analytics set up yet. They're just looking to set it up. And I was like, well, interestingly, it's very important to have analytics set up. And you have to don't go there looking like they are doing you a favor. You go to an interview like you are a boss. You don't go there and then start fidgeting or forming humble guy. You have to go there like a consultant that, oh, it would be nice for you guys to have this, to have that, to have that. There was an interview, I was literally schooling them. And again, they are university students in the UK here. They're trying to build something. A very amazing product. I loved it. The problem was they did not have money to pay anybody. And I thought I was going to be able to do it, but At the end of the day, I could not. I just stopped replying to their emails. But the thing is, you have to go in there, not like somebody who doesn't know what he's doing or who is trying to figure. No, you are going in there like, I know what I'm talking about. You should have this so that we can measure this and then know how the design that, even if I'm hired on this job, how the designs I'm doing, how it's impacting the business. You understand? You ask questions. You can ask questions around what are the biggest sources of traffic for the product. Is it social media? Is it organic search, or is it search engine? You can ask questions like that. You should never go to an interview without asking questions. Ask questions in any interview you go. Always ask them questions. It's an important part of your assessment. The interview that got me this job that I'm working right now, literally, when I went to their office, because I had done like 2 stages of interview before. The 3rd stage, I came to London to like go to the office and add the interview. Right then and then, I told them from the beginning that I don't know much about the product's internal workings. So therefore, I'll be asking so many questions. They gave me like, oh, create a user flow for this, blah, blah, blah. Like, before I even start drawing user flows, first of all, what is this? What are the conversion rates? What are the click-through rates? What are some of the places that you've identified that users usually churn? There's something we call churn. Let me just write it out. We call it churn, C-H-U-R-N. Churn pretty much means is a place where people are facing some difficulty. It's a problem area for users, even though the design is fine, but it's a problem area for users. What are the areas that people usually churn? I can then start coming up with ideas that we can use to then reduce the churn, because I can literally just go to the website in front of them, look at the layout of it, and then say, oh, wow, this button should probably have been here. Then we can have a secondary button that maybe if they are not convinced yet, they can click to learn more or read more. We don't overload with so much information once. And then you start thinking outside the box right then and there. Nigerian companies don't do much of interviews like that. They call it a whiteboarding session. And I'll send you some examples of whiteboarding sessions. You can find them on YouTube. I'll say UX whiteboard challenge. There are a lot of videos on YouTube UX. If you want to prepare for any interviews, FMK, I love this lady so much. Like, she has some of the best tips ever. Yeah, Sharon too is, these are very good designers. And I've noticed something. It's the ladies that actually come online to then give these tips. A lot of the guys I see, what they do is more of post on, how to use this new tool. We are doing this, or there's this new tool in the market. But the ladies are the ones that actually tell you about the interview process, how to create a portfolio. Yeah, these are people that I swear, before tax, these people are making over $10,000, $20,000, and they have digital products that they all sell. You understand? These people are actually dope, like very good designers that you can actually check, how they work, the things, whiteboard challenge. What are the things that you'll be doing in a whiteboard challenge? They will tell you, you must ask questions. If you don't ask questions, then you are just fooling yourself, because nobody will even want to, hire you. You understand? If you're not asking us questions, you get. Those are pretty much the metrics that you guys should generally or definitely look out for. These metrics will tell you a lot. Now, there's no way for us to simulate metrics, but I'll give you a scenario-based design this week. This week's design is going to be about, I'll give you a page and I'll then make up a metric. It will be a very beautiful UI design. And then I'll tell you that, oh, click-through rate is low. Oh yeah, design it in your own way to ensure that the click-through rate increases. I'll see the idea that you come up with. That is like, those are the scenarios that we now start painting. Now, it's more tactics and strategy. It's no longer just design. You guys have learned everything. Remember, your final, still keep working on that project.